Hi everyone, Sarah here from Sculpt Happy Studio. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to teach you how to make snowdrops using polymer clay. I hope you enjoy the tutorial. Please like and subscribe to my channel. It's completely free and would really help me to grow on YouTube. Thanks. If you don't have a needle tool, you could use a toothpick, and likewise with a ball tool you could always substitute it with the rounded end of a paintbrush or pencil. If you don't have a Sugarcraft foam mat for petal making, you could maybe substitute that for something like a mouse mat, a piece of polystyrene like the sort of thing pizzas come delivered on, or even the palm of your hand can be used. To get the snowdrop green, I'm mixing together equal parts of green and yellow and then putting about a third of blue in. Always remember, condition your clay really well before you start working with it. So when I first had a go at this, I mounted some green clay on the end of the wire and used a craft knife to cut. But I found that the small details were very rough. Everything was very tiny that I was working in, and so this was kind of my first attempt, but I found a better way of doing it. I just wanted to share that it's a process, guys, and you know, we're learning all the time, so don't be afraid to try again. Clay adhesive, what used to be known as bacon bond, is kind of your best friend. I used that a lot throughout the project. There's so many really tiny little things like the stamen that need to be secured in place, so make sure you've got some clay adhesive at hand. Let me go for a good. So here you can see the second attempt that I make at the beginning of the flower, where I'm forming the small green bud, I suppose it's the ovary part of the snowdrop, using clay adhesive on the wire, and now I'm rolling out that coil, that fine coil of yellow clay. Notice how I'm moving my hands from the middle to the outsides. Obviously this is sped up, but I do that so that I can get an even coil. And then I'm cutting each of the elements that will form the stamen. These will then be glued or secured onto the bud or ovary with clay adhesive. Using the needle tool to make little insertions in the bud helps to fix the stamen in position. Whilst they won't go completely in the holes, it sort of gives it something to lever on, as well as the glue holding it together. To hold the flower in position while I need my hands to be free, I just squidged together a little bit of white clay and basically use that as a base. Just push the wire into it, and then that can go straight on the tile and in the oven when you want to bake. So that's just a simple way if you don't have something else to put it on. So now we're going to move on to the inner 3 petals of the snowdrop, taking 3 tiny little balls of white clay, and I take each one and roll it into a small ball that then I form into a sort of teardrop, tiny petal shape. And then I flatten that with my forefinger just on the hard surface of the worktop. Then I move the petal onto the Sugarcraft mat, so you just want something soft and foamy that you can then start to manipulate the petal shape. And I'm using the ball tool to glide up and down the inside and around the edge of the petal to form this kind of curved shape, and it also thins the clay. Mixing together soft pastels in yellow and green using a craft knife to scrape them and then a paintbrush to mix them together helped me achieve the same green that I wanted for the snowdrop. Using a ball tool instead of a paintbrush to apply the dry pastel, soft pastel, to the inner petals gave me so much more control. You can see I'm just dabbing into the petals gently so I don't go through the petal, but I was able to then achieve this kind of heart-shaped effect with the colour green. So it's just something I found that worked. Obviously you can try different things to see what works for you.
Just think of me when your heart is racing at the speed of light, and you feel like you got nowhere else to go. No, I'll hold you till the sun comes in the morning light. Yeah, I'll keep you safe, I'll never let you go. I'll never let you go.
Here you can see that I'm now going to start assembling the inner petals, and for this, I'm not going to lie, you need a lot of patience. Some of them seem to go on easily and others just kind of wanted to do their own thing. So just holding the bud and the petals carefully, gently is really important, and just taking your time. Now I'm forming the 3 outer petals of the flower, and I've formed a teardrop shape, flattened it with my fingers on the hard surface, transferred it to the sugar craft mat, and I'm using a larger ball tool and just working my way around the edge. And you can see the top and bottoms kind of curving, the sides are curling up, and it almost forms kind of ridges on the inside. I then use the needle tool to create gentle, delicate lines, and then I recurl them. Now, these first ones I actually wasn't happy with. They were too round, so I'm doing it again. And this time I'm going to shape the petals in sort of elongating each end. So I'm kind of pinching, so I've got the wider part in the middle and tapering the ball at each end.
I just wanna dream my life away. I just wanna dream all night and day. I just wanna dream, no working.
Once it's tapered, I then flatten that against the worktop. It doesn't have to be perfect, just needs to be more pointed at each end. And again, take the larger ball tool, and you can see I'm just working my way around the edges of the petal, deliberately giving it these lines, but also working on the basis that I want to thin out that clay and I want to curl up the edges, correcting a few mistakes here and there.
I just wanna dream my life away. I just wanna dream all night.
And you can see the difference between the two. So the right hand one is much more the shape that I wanted. Again, I use the needle tool to do gentle lines and grooves in the back of the piece, and I recurl the petal.
The world is too cold, I don't have a sweater. The world is too sick, I'll never get better. I just wanna
To assemble the outer petals means that we're going to need to support the flower head. So I have used cotton wool, which at the temperature we're going to bake the flower at, 130 degrees centigrade, it will not compromise the flower or cause any kind of flammable issue.
Just let me dream, my dreams keep me safe from harm. Just let me be, no need to sound the alarm. I wanna live my life and my dreams.
Holding the flower upside down is helpful, as that's the position that the snowdrop will be in, and also means that as I put the petals on, they can dangle from the base. So I'm just doing what I did with the inner petals, really, covering the outer part in adhesive, and then using my fingers and the silicone shaper to attach the petals. And then I just rest it carefully on the cotton wool, and I take an additional few pieces of cotton wool, very tiny pieces, and the needle tool, and just carefully insert them just to support the shape of the flower, so that when it's baking it doesn't move. So now that the flour's out of the oven and it's cool, we're going to put the ovary part of the snowdrop on, and I'm just rolling out a small amount of green clay, applying a little bit of clay adhesive to the bottom of the flower, and then I cut the little ball of clay so that I can wrap it around the base, and then I use my fingers to smooth, and I use the silicone rubber shaper to just get it into the right position and blend, just taking my time really. For the leaf part of the snowdrop, I'm rolling out a tapered coil into kind of a long, thin shape, which I then press down using my fingers and a clear acrylic coaster. I add detailed lines using the needle tool.
Cannot find. We were stars beneath the skies, not just memories in my eyes.
You can see here that I've covered the stem in green clay. The other alternative would be to paint the stem using green acrylic.
Hearts that go fading in the night. You were my beacon.
And that's it, guys. Here's some photos of the finished flowers.
Now I'm left with just the sound of your love that's not around. The wind, it carries your sweet name, but all it brings is empty blame. I search the corners of my soul for the parts you used to hold. We were stars.
I hope you found the tutorial helpful. I'd love to hear from you, and I'd like to know how you get on making these flowers and what you might change in your making process. So please do share your thoughts by liking and commenting. Thanks to everybody who's supported me so far. I'm really grateful. Until next week, take care.